Hey, welcome to the Patrice Brantley Show. Where helping others is the name of the game, and on this show, we push purpose, positivity, and personal growth. I am your host, Patrice, and today I have the illustrious pleasure of speaking to Miss Fiona. She is a best-selling author, and she's going to be sharing her book with us today. Hey, it will be long, but not for forever. I love this title because it reminds me that when I'm in a battle and things are going a little interesting for me, that hey, it might be long, but it won't be forever. All right, y'all, pause for the cause because now we got to pay some bills, okay? Hey, listen, I'm back over here. Y'all see me, right? Hey, I'm over here and I'm talking about mental health. I need you to know if you are saying, Patrice, I just need someone to talk to. There's a lot of stuff going on around me, and I need to find a place that is with comfort and care. I want to recommend to you the 3S movement. I want you to come in and talk to Patrice and her team about how your mental health can be better, how we can help you not just survive 2025, but thrive in 2025. Okay, so I need you to reach out, head over to the three, that's the number three, smovement.com. Make sure you schedule your appointment today. All right, y'all, let's get back into this. So, I'm excited because this is the first part of our author series. And y'all know I love to highlight authors. I love to give you people who don't just give you a book because they said, oh, somebody told them they had a story. But I want to give you some books that's going to help you make it through these days. The books that's going to help to what? Enrich and infill your soul. And when I got to tell you, I was just thrilled and over the moon when I spoke to Miss Fiona in reference to her book, It Will Be Long but not for forever. When I tell you she gave me some jewels in this, I need y'all to get your paper, I need you to get your pens, and I need y'all to sit on down, honey, and hear the goodness within her book. I want to bring to the stage Miss Fiona. Now, listen, y'all got to clap it up. Give it to her, give it to her, give it to her, give
Thank
it to
you, thank you,
her.
thank you
Come
so
in and give
much.
me some goodness. And I need you to have it all lined up. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you so much for having me. Patrice, thank you so
Yes.
much.
Well, you know what? Listen, we've been talking about this book, and I'm just so over the moon, excited that you've come in to share this with us. And for those who've been with me on the channel for a while, they know my favorite question is, "What's your story?" So tell me, what's your story?
My story is no matter what I'm going through, I always remind myself that it will belong, but not forever. Someone might ask, wow, that's a powerful title. Yes, it is powerful because my sister reminded me back in the days when she was alive, God bless her soul. She passed
Mhm.
away years ago from HIV. That's another story in itself. Maybe we'll go through that story, but I remember every challenge that I encounter, I usually go to my sister and she would be like, girl, it will be long, but not forever. And in honor of my sister, I put pen to paper and I said the title will have to be It Will Be Long, but Not Forever.
I love this because you haven't given us the full story of your sister's story yet, but I love that you took this time to honor her. And
Yes.
it's such a beautiful thing because it tells me that she left you with such an indelible imprint in your life, not with just the title, but the lessons that she's giving you, which you talk about in this book as well. So
Yes.
I want to dig a little bit further because you talked about her being the inspiration. How was this process? Because I'm hearing all this goodness about her. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about her? You don't mind?
I don't mind at all. Uh, Not that she's the only person that inspired me to wrote
Mhm.
this book, but my son as well, because I was a single mom, so that's another story. And my son was taken away from me, so that came with a lot of mental breakdowns and everything, which I'll get into. But my sister and she passed away many years from HIV/AIDS, and we were so poor. And I always said, well, a chapter in my book says crime is a poverty is a crime, meaning that sometimes being poor, it allow you to make some decisions that you don't really want to make, but because of your state, your well-being, and where you're at, it allow you to make some mistakes, and mistakes sometimes that cannot be recovered. So my sister Anne, she was my biggest motivator. It was nine of us. I was the only one who have ever gone that far in getting a higher education. We were so poor that sometimes we wouldn't get the opportunity to go to school, but I would push through because I want to be different. My other two sisters, they got pregnant even out of elementary school. I mean, back in my in Jamaica, they will say secondary school. So they
Yes.
didn't get a chance even to go on to high school or finish high school, teenage pregnancy and everything, coupled by not having enough to eat, not able to rest properly because it's like four of us on a single bed. So life was very, very challenging. And, my sister always said to me, that is Anne, she said, I want you to become everything that I didn't get a chance to become in life. And because of that, I had to really push hard to really make her proud. Even today, I still remember her. I know that she's looking down, she's saying, good job, continue, I'm there with you. So my sister was, oh, my inspiration,
I love how
definitely.
you talk about the story of being one of nine. And I think
Yes,
so many people take for granted that, now most people that I know say only I want a few kids, I want one or two. But when you're one of nine, there has to be a different level of sacrifice because you don't
yes,
know, as you said before, you don't know what you were going to be able to have. And you don't
definitely.
know where possibly that next meal may have come from or
That's
what would
right.
be available to you. So this was a very good eye-opening look of what does it mean to really be okay with saying I want more. And what
That's
I love about your story is as you're talking about it, your sister really focused in on I want you to be everything that I could not be.
Yeah, that's right. That's
That
right.
that is such a deep statement because so many people don't realize the
Mm.
one person, and I'm just going to kind of jump in here a little bit. Sometimes we have that one person in our life who pushes us and pushes us and pushes us. Sometimes it seems so hard, doesn't it?
Yes,
That
yes, it
person is
does.
on your neck, and then you
Yes,
realize later they were only doing it to see you be a success.
that's true. That's true. I don't regret it one bit. At times she could be a little bit annoying or, overstepping. But looking back at it now, it's a legacy that I will never forget. It's like having gold. That's my gold forever, and it's always in my heart. And whenever I feel like giving up, I always remember her saying to me, "Don't give up, keep going on. You can do anything that you want to become." So hats off to her.
So you've kind of given me the background on your sister and what happened, and then you talked about how you yourself went through a trial where
Yes,
you lost your son and he
yes.
was taken from you. Do you mind sharing with us a little bit deeper about that?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned before, that I was the first of nine to have gone to university. I started university back in 2000. As I said, I started really late. I started high school really late because I have to play catch up because we wouldn't go to school very often enough because my dad would be like, "Oh, it's pointless. Let's go to the farm and do all of that." So I started reading very, very late. I faced struggles of, challenges of reading. So I start high school very late, and then I, go on to university. But the university that I usually attend is a Christian institution. And at the time, they said it's either you're married or it's either if you're pregnant, it's either you're gonna be getting married, or you have to stay out until you give birth and then you come back. So at the time, I evaluate the situation and the relationship that I was in at the time, and I said, you know what, it's best if I go, because I don't want to have the pressure of getting married when I know deep down I'm not ready. So I had to be honest with myself. So I sat out university for quite some years,
Okay.
just trying to provide for my son. And then at 5 years old, I said to my mom, I said, I would really love to go back to university. Mark you, they're all upset because, you're the first of nine gone to university. Everybody's
Mhm.
so proud of you and everything. And then to be pregnant on top of that, the disappointment that came with it, the resentment and everything. So
Mhm.
my mom said, no, she's not able to help me. I have to figure it out because I'm grown. I'm doing grown things. I have to figure it
Yes.
out. So she said no. So I reached out to my child's father at the time, and I said, can you assist me? Because I really want to go back to school, because the burden of being there and everyone was cheering along, and then all of a sudden there are no cheerleaders around. So
Yes.
yeah, so I said, you know what, I have to go back to school. And he said, okay, I'll come and help. And my son went to live with him at 5 years. 5 years, we discussed that I'm gonna be seeing him and all of that. Fast forward, the visit becomes none, none to existence. So I was like, no, this can't be happening. I have to see my son, and it's like a weapon. You're eating and the dog is in front of you drooling, and
Mhm.
that's how I was just there at his mercy. So I went to the court system in order to have 50-50 custody of
Yes.
my son. And oh my God, that day that day was the worst point in my life, where the judge says that I was not stable enough to take care of my son, based on what my son's father was saying to the judge. So the judge granted 100 custody to him. So for years, I have been at his mercy. But you know what? I did not stop showing up and showing out, whether directly or indirectly. And now, this month, my son is 21. So we're still navigating our relationship. And, there are times that you have to sit back and allow time to really take care of certain things and ask God for faith and for endurance. And, I remember, like, days I'll be crying to my bed, getting even therapy session just to cope with everything that I was going through, missing my son, and just the hardships of life, not having him. So that's
Mm.
where, yes, my son was really taken away from me. That was devastating for sure.
So I want to pause there because you talked about taking a moment to get therapy, and I'm
Yes.
going to kind of switch the camera a little bit. When you got to that point, did you yourself start having concerns about, oh my goodness, I'm to the point where I want to go to therapy? What were you thinking at that moment?
I feel like my entire world was crashing in. I feel like I felt so hopeless. Like there's no one to help me. Yes, I know that God was there, but in everything you still needed someone to talk to, and it was a lonely road. And even though it was lonely, I was still making strive, because remember, I grew up in struggles. I grew up in challenging moments and how to cope. But sometimes you can't rely on that strength. You have to get more strength to back you up. So yes, I went to therapy. I'm not ashamed to say I went to therapy. I went to therapy quite a few times. I just want to remain balanced. I just want to remain intact with my feelings, and be honest with myself, because sometimes it's hard for you even to be honest with yourself.
Mm.
And talking with someone, they will look you dead in the eye and tell you, Fiona, if this is not working, it's just not working. You have to figure something else out.
I love how you first let me just say I love how open and vulnerable you are about your therapy experience. And I say that because you said something that just really hit me when you said there was a time when I was hopeless. And I
Mhm.
think people just assume, therapy is just it's no way of working. And what I'm hearing is as you went through this process, you went from being
Mhm.
hopeless to
Yes,
hopeful.
yes.
And I love how you can see the end of your story now as a place of
Mhm.
triumph.
That's right.
And I love that piece. And I got to go back into this. So you went through this experience with the court system. And I know people are very biased where they love to say, well, the courts always side with the woman and this and that. And
Mhm.
I'm going, hearing your story, I'm going, no, they didn't.
No.
I'm going, this has to be a crushing moment to hear as a
Yes.
parent
Mhm.
somebody else's skewed view of you and you having to fight to get from under
Mhm.
this heavy pressure and boulder of somebody saying the wrong view of you and
That's
knowing
right.
that's not who I am.
That's right.
I'm a woman who's willing to put everything on the line for
That's
this young
right.
man that I have birthed.
That's right. And even in that time, there, that little voice will be like, don't worry about it. That little voice
Mhm.
will be like, what you fighting for? Why are you running down something that is not coming at you? So there are so many voices that goes on in your head, and you have to choose the right voice that says, show up and show out, even when you don't want to.
I love how you talked about the voices because so many times, especially in this day and age, right? Everybody has a voice. Everybody wants to be that loud voice in the scene. But it's knowing what's the right voice to focus on. Who is telling you, or either, who or what is saying to you, keep pushing. You can
Mhm.
do this. I
Mhm.
believe in you. I see
Mhm.
you. So I love that piece because so many times we have to learn as people as a whole, when is it time to clear the room, clear
Mhm.
out the noise,
Mhm.
and hear the voice that's saying, keep going?
That's
So
right.
I love this piece. And as you're talking about this part with your son, is there a piece of this in your story in the book? Because I know as I'm here and I'm going, wow, what a story of tragedy to triumph to
Yes.
now be able to look back and say, yes, this young
Mhm.
man is here and he's doing well. And I see the good
Yes.
fruit of this experience that I've gone through. Give me some more stuff out this book. I need to go ahead and get me some more. Somebody else needs to hear this. This is a
So
word of
there
encouragement
are
for
many
somebody in this season.
challenges. As I said, there are many challenges, and remember, one of the challenge is trying to bridge that gap. Now that my son, we're more around each other, is trying to bridge that gap. It's trying to let go of that 5-year-old that I left at that time to now being a 21-year-old and how to balance both of them together. So in that moment, and there are things that he has, he gave me questions upon questions upon questions that I had to be honest and open and vulnerable and apologize and in order to move forward and in order to experience growth. um, so it wasn't a easy road when it comes on to bridging back that gap. Because remember, I had now migrated to the US and he was still in Jamaica. So now that he migrated here, it would have been me just reappearing in his adult life, young adult life. So that's another thing to navigate as well. But there's a chapter in my book that's chapter 10, and it's a letter to my son. And it's very heartfelt. Everyone that get a copy of my book always talk about that chapter. It's just the openness, just the humbleness, just being vulnerable, and just acceptance and everything.
You said something that really hit me. You said as you and your son are now reconnecting and building on this relationship, there were a lot of pieces that you had to forgive yourself. He had to forgive you as well,
Yes.
but you actually went back and you apologized. And I,
Mhm.
I want to highlight that because so many times people feel, well, I'm back now. Get over whatever you've been
Yes.
over
Yes.
and, acknowledge my presence. And so
Mhm.
many times, so many things can be corrected with just saying, I acknowledge the pain that I put you through.
Mhm.
I apologize for
Definitely.
the pain that I put you through. And now I'm going to do a different action so that you don't have to experience that pain again. So
Definitely.
oh my God, I love that piece. And I'm
Definitely.
excited, y'all, because chapter 10, I got to get a little deeper in because, baby, this sounds like chapter 10 going to have me in here with some tears and some tea. So I got to get
Yes,
it together.
yes.
So, for those who are listening for this part, how was that process of reconnecting? What would you suggest for that mother, for that son, for that
Mhm.
father, for that daughter who is saying, you know what? Yes, I stepped away. I had to get myself together, or I didn't have an opportunity to tell you why I was able to step away then. What would be some of the tips or some of the strategies you would tell them?
First of all, I'm speaking from my perspective and what I have done
Yes.
and what therapy helped me to accomplish in my process of doing so. So, first of all, I had to listen attentively.
Mm.
There are times when he's saying things that I don't really necessarily want to hear, or things that I really, really want to clarify or adjust a little bit, or whatever it is. But those are his feelings, and I have to respect his feelings. I have to
Mhm.
acknowledge them. I have to say, "Oh, I didn't know that you actually felt that way. I'm so sorry." But also showing, be gentle, is because it's very delicate, so you have to approach it very, very cautiously, explaining your side as well, because you don't want to come across like, okay, this was what was happening, just accept it and let's move on. You have to be
Mm.
cautious and be mindful. Mindfulness is everything, and during that process you have to be honest, even if it's things that you don't want to hear yourself, even yourself saying that you don't want to hear. You have to
Mhm.
say that. You have to be open, honest, and be vulnerable in the moment.
Ooh. You listen, you dropped some good stuff over here. I want you to know I'm taking notes because I love your LAS. I
Yeah.
love that listen, acknowledge, and start to grow and learn together. I love that piece that you really was able to get there. And then when you talked about being mindful, because
Yes.
so many times, depending on the home you grew up in, people didn't look at you being mindful. They just looked at, okay, well, I'm back now, get over it.
Yes,
But there's a
definitely.
big difference when you stop and say, if I was talking to myself on the other side of this, would
Mm.
I tell them to get over it? Would I be so quick to just say, well, you done, we finished?
That's
So
true.
I love those tips that you gave me. Okay, listen, I'm gonna tell you
There's
right now.
another one. There's a
Oh, come
very
on, give me some
important.
more.
There's a very important one that we promise to each other that we're gonna hold each other accountable
Oh,
in
wait, you
that
cussing up
moment.
in there. Wait a minute. You want people to be accountable? Because you
Yes.
know that's the curse word around here.
So if I say something like, if
Mhm.
remember, we're building, and building, sometimes you tend to fall back in your old ways. So having he said, "Oh, wait a bit, mommy. You remember your promise that you're not gonna be shouting at me? You remember you said this, and then we just, okay, snap out of it. Accountability."
Ooh, I love it. I love it. The reason why I jumped in there because for so many people, people talk a good game about being accountable. It's the
Yes.
buzzword, right?
Yes.
But you actually have them, and he's saying to you, "Hey, you said you wouldn't treat me this way. I'm not going to
Yes.
treat you that way." And
Yes.
that takes a lot of emotional maturity. That takes you being upfront and saying, "Hey, I know we've had this concern in the past." It
Yes.
takes you being able to be honest and say, "Yes, I am your mother, but I also am a learner in this moment. I'm
That's true.
also a student in this moment." So whoo, I love it. I'm loving it.
Yes.
I'm loving it. Okay, come on now. You done took me from chapter 1 to chapter 10. I'm getting ready to do my church woman run through here. I want you to know now. I'm getting ready. So I need you to leave you with a final thought, something that you would want each person to know about this book and what it is for them they get out of it.
So I chose, well, the way how I've written this book, it's an impactful universal theme that oftentimes we as single mothers, or we're even struggling in our lives, and we even going through mental things, and we're we're so afraid of sharing it because we don't want the world to look at us differently or say, oh, you need to go see a therapist, you need to do this, you need to do that. But being through it, I know that everyone can relate to this book. There's bits and pieces that everyone can relate to it. And I haven't talked about the middle section of the book. Remember, I go from chapter 1 to chapter 10. So can you imagine
Yes.
what's in the middle? So there is something that someone can learn from this. And I just want to remind individuals out there that no matter what you're going through in life, it's only for a season. Just like we have summer, winter, autumn, and everything, there is a season and it will come to an end. And just to be a little bit more practical, if you look how they play tennis, they start center. And wherever the ball goes, they go to get that ball and they go back to the center line, and that's how life is. Always try to stay grounded. No matter what is happening, go back, remain focused and centered.
I don't think I could have said it any better. Listen, y'all know I gotta take a moment because she done gave me so much good stuff over here. I got notes written to the side. If you have not purchased your copy, I need y'all to make sure you grab your copy. Can you please show us the book and tell us where we can purchase this book? Because, honey, you got some good stuff.
Yes, so the book here, it will be long but not forever. It's available on Amazon for purchase. And also, I do have t-shirts to go with it. So
All
if
right.
you're looking for motivational pieces to just walk around to start a conversation, there you go. It will be long but not forever. That's the title of the book on the t-shirt. And they're all available on Amazon. But if you're looking to get a signed copy, you can purchase it through Instagram, Facebook, um, also TikTok. On TikTok is Ionia underscore distributor. On Facebook is Fione Salmon, my full name. And on Instagram is Fiona underscore Salmon official. So that's where you can
Honey.
get your copies.
Oh, well, listen. This is a book that I believe everybody should have on the shelf, because it sounds like this is something that you can always go back and reflect on and say, you
That's
know
right.
what? I got something so good out of this that I didn't just read a book, but I got something I could carry with me, treasure in me to be
That's
a
right.
treasure for somebody else. So, Fiona, I want to thank you once again for joining me. Oh my gosh. Honey, did y'all hear this? She gave us some good stuff. I need y'all to grab your copy. I'm definitely grabbing mine. She is definitely starting off an amazing trail in this book series, because I want to give you books and resources that not only just are good reads, but books that help you to be empowered and equipped for your next level. So make sure you get the book. It will be long, but not for forever. Well, listen, guys, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Patrice Brantley Show, where helping others is the name of the game. And on this show, we push purpose, positivity, and personal growth. I need y'all to stay tuned for the next wonderful episode. And make sure you share this with a friend. And wait a minute before I roll off of here. Have you connected to the socials? Have you connected with me on Patrice B channel on YouTube? Have you connected on IG yet? If you haven't, I need you to get over there and tell a friend, because the goal is to make sure that we spread a positive message to those around us with a little help attached. Have an amazing day.